cease to function because.
Well, I feel that groups today, I guess it's because the influence of other groups and other kinds of music. Groups today are playing things that are very similar to other groups. Like, for instance, I don't know if this is so, but I listen to Genesis, and it sort of gives me the impression that Genesis sounds like either a more or less, I'm not saying that the music sounds like it, I'm just saying that the style itself sounds more or less like an Emerson style or like a Rick Wakeman style. Do you find, like, what I'm saying, anything close to what it sounds like, you know what I mean?
I think there's some similarity between Tony's style and Rick Wakeman's style.
Because,
I think that's because of their, classical
that's it.
Training
it's classical
and
background.
Yeah, but for me, in the bands that do show some interest or influences from classical music, there's sort of much wider differences in just say in the number of chords that are used in the time signatures than there ever was in the old sort of 3-chord trick days.
I understand, but I see your point. I think that the only dynamic groups these days, and I am including your group because I am a big fan of Genesis, and I do enjoy Genesis music, but I am saying that the only dynamic groups I can see right now are groups that have some, more or less of an insight into classical and into other sorts, like Moog synthesizers and other things like that, of that sort, you know what I mean? Like, not just your normal, like you're saying, 5-chord doodad where they get on and they play the rock and roll and everything. I don't think that goes anymore. I don't think it's so interesting anymore. I mean, like, when you get a mixture of classical and different chords, I mean, like the different chord patterns and like the different sounds like the synthesizer can make these days. Like the synthesizer can be any one of hundreds of instruments, and like the different sounds that you can get out of the synthesizer make the music more interesting to listen to. Is that, and you don't have to have an orchestra, because the synthesizer itself is, some of them are anyways, more or less of an orchestra in its own.
Yeah, I don't think we look upon like the synthesizer or the mellotron as a sort of replacement of an orchestra, except as a sort of ability to give a sort of perspective to some of the sounds, but rather more for their own sort of tonal values. But I think the way I think we differ is that we view everything still as songwriters first, whereas I think with other bands they are maybe a bit more musicians first, if you see what I mean. Whereas for us, the initial material, the melodies and so on, are the all-important source. Then we play it being musicians, and then we play it being presenters, and it is that order.
Did you go to the concert last night, Steve?
No, but I'm planning on going tonight.
Did you have your tickets yet?
No, but I have somewhere where I'm going to buy them. I have from a friend.
Okay.
Another question I'd like to ask, like, the music that you write for your albums, can everybody else write everyone else's music? I mean, can a bass player write a pianist's music? Or can a drummer help a pianist with his music? I mean, if the pianist has trouble improvising on something, can the drummer come over and say, here, do it this way? Because I feel like when you have more, when people in the group know what all the instruments sound like and know how to play them, you tend to get more of a closeness in the group. Is this so with Genesis?
Yeah, very definitely. It's always been like that. I mean, in that, maybe any one of the 5 of us would come up, say, with a melody idea or a rhythmic idea, and although it may take a great deal of time because whoever it is proposing the thing may not be familiar or, very adept at that particular instrument, they will then, we have enough sort of patience and tolerance of each other to listen to other people's ideas of what we should be doing on our own instruments or whatever. I think that is important.
Okay, thanks a lot. Oh, there I am.
I wish you the best of luck, and from what I've been hearing, your concert last night was like stupendous. And good luck in the future music, Genesis, records, albums, whatever.
Okay, thanks a lot, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Where are you from originally?
I'm from a small dairy farm on the suburbs of London.
What about the other members of the band?
They're sort of pretty well from the home counties, which is sort of southeast of England. Steve and Phil from London, Tony from Sussex, and Michael from Farnham, Surrey, if anyone knows what they are.
What has the tour been like? What has your acceptance been like from city to city?
Well, it's and generally with us in most countries, it's been a thing where it's grown sort of slowly compared to some groups on maybe a much more sort of personal basis, derived from live performances. And in the places we've played before, it's been sort of gradually accumulating. It's been going really very well this tour, except for the Deep South, where we were only getting sort of quarter, half full. Somehow we didn't seem to click through there.
Have you had any bad vibes from any place you've played?
Yeah, well, now we're in a situation where we provoke positive or negative. Fortunately, we've killed off any indifference, and the negative can get quite, or certainly as powerful and potent as the positive.
Any specific place that comes to mind?
No, I can't remember at the moment. I think the tour before last, Chicago, or maybe it was 2 tours ago, we had a lot of abuse and many requests for boogie music.
Oh,
which is not within our range.
People weren't there really to listen. They wanted to dance around or something.
Right. Well,
Ball in
I
the
think
aisles or something.
that's another advantage for us, to get to know people over a period of time, is that they're perhaps familiar by the time they actually see us of the sort of thing we're trying to do, and so less interested, if they want to dance and so on. There are plenty of other bands to go and dance to.
Is the tour constant throughout? I mean, Peter Hamill is playing the first
He's
set,
playing
right?
on this Canadian section.
But in the U.S. he's not...
No, he hasn't been. I don't know quite what's going to happen after this, but yeah, I enjoy it. We used to play with Vandergraaf quite a lot in the old days, and I like Vandergraaf a lot.
I noticed last night you gave us a French version of your show. I'm sure that's not the same intro to each song that you give to, like, the United States audiences.
Right, well, they're a little more complex, but rather than me trying to grovel through in my traditional English fashion and not be understood, I thought better to try my not very good French and maybe have half of it understood.
Yeah, it was very understandable because of the visual aspect. You made everything understood by hand motions, and the whole story was, I know a little French, and I could follow it all, and I think the crowd seemed to understand what was going on too, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, for those people who are going to listen to the radio tonight, they'll have to imagine the hand motions.
Right, there's another call here. He's been waiting a while. Let's see. Hi, who's this?
Ouais, c'est Jerry, ok?
Okay, Jerry.
Est-ce que je pourrais poser la question en français, là?
Okay.
Ok?
Ok.
Vous avez sorti un 45 tours, ok? Twilight in the House. Est-ce que c'est tiré du prochain album qui va sortir? Ou bien est-ce que c'est un morceau comme ça que vous avez mis sur un 45?
Twilight Ale House? Is that what you're talking about?
Is that going to be on your new album?
Non, monsieur. That's my French. No, it was written about 7 years ago, and it was always put off one album after the next, and it was eventually put out on the B-side of the last single.
Is that on the From Genesis to Revelation album?
There's a small riff on which is a link between tracks on Genesis Revelation, which we used in that song.
Okay, maybe we could play that right now, if I can find it here, and we'll come back in a minute or so. If you can you stay a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And
I'd do anything for money.
Okay. Listen, hey, who's on the phone again? Peter?
Jerry.
Jerry, right. Hey, Jerry.
Ouais?
You got anything else to talk about while I get the record ready?
Ok, see you tonight.
Oh, you're coming tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Au revoir.
We'll see you there. We're sitting with Peter Gabriel of Genesis right now on CHOM FM. It's 17 before 2 o'clock, and Jeff Brown. You have a question. Oh, the man over there in the blue coat.
Yes, and the blue pants. Yes, Peter, you were in Montreal last year.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how different this year's concert, last night and tonight, is different from last year's.
From our point in the music, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's just, I think, one number that we weren't doing last time, Battle of Epping Forest. Ideally, you know what, we prefer, I think, to do just one presentation, as it were, once in a year in each city, and maybe do it 2 or 3 nights. We don't know as yet if it's possible for us to do this next time round, but I think it's probably more satisfactory because there is a repetition this time of a lot of what we were playing last time.
Well, you do a remarkable stage act. Who designs all the clothes and lighting effects and so on? Do you yourself do that?
Well, it's sort of with a few other people, you know. There's a mask maker who has some ideas on the mask I go over with, a lady who makes costumes, then we have a lights man. But, you know, we like to keep in sort of fairly close control of what's going on because I think it's very important that the whole thing should be sort of tight and coherent, you know.
Right. Put up a show such as that one. How long do you have to rehearse, for instance?
Well, I suppose we had about 2 weeks before this time. Depends a bit, you know, on what we do. I think next time it may take a bit longer. We're not sure what we're going to be able to use yet.
Mm-hmm. What would be the new things you bring into your stage act last night, for instance, and tonight?
Last night?
Yeah.
Well, as I say, it's mainly this, just this number that was different in as far as content. There are now 2 places where we are improvising in the set, both the sort of endings of 2 numbers, Dancing with the Moonlit Night and I Know What I Like. And I think we're going to try and increase that, you know, to try and keep it fresh all the time. You know, it is hard when you're doing long tours and doing the same music to keep it from going stale. But and here last night it was very good. When the audience give you a lot, it's like an injection of adrenaline into the band. Mm-hmm. You know, it's you're really back to where you were when the material was first going out on the road. If you get a bad audience, then it's a kiss of death at this particular point, you know.
Do you find the crowd much different in Montreal than other places you've been?
Well, it varies. And I think perhaps the reaction here is definitely, you know, good. Mm-hmm. And you know, we enjoyed playing it both last time and last night a lot. I think perhaps, you know, the French influence is probably a good thing for us. And in Europe, we seem to be doing very well.
In France, for instance, how is it?
In France, it's doing a lot better now. But in Belgium and the French-speaking side, that was the first country, you know, to like us before England, really. Mm-hmm. And then Italy after that. I think perhaps the classical influence is perhaps more absorbed in the French culture than it is in the sort of Anglo-Saxon.
Once the tour is going to be over, what are you going to be doing?
Well, we just start work on the new album, and there are quite a lot of ideas going around for that at the moment, but we haven't finalized anything as yet.
All right.
I understand you spend a lot of money on makeup this true?
Yeah, I mean, 60% of total takings of the door go towards painting my face.
Come on.
Oh.
How long does it take to get made up for the show each night?
It takes about 2/3 of the time that we're actually on stage.
Really? So
No, that's an exaggeration, as was the previous comment. But no, I think I'd probably spend 1/10 of the amount on makeup that Tiny Tim spent.
Tiny Tim spent more than you.
Yeah, he's really heavy.
And you
on
didn't
makeup.
notice it so much with Tiny Tim. I mean, when I saw you come on stage, I said to myself, that guy is made up. He's got makeup on, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was phosphorescent and all. You could really tell that you were made up.
I have shares in Max Factor.
The stuff that glows, is there any danger of having that on for too long or anything like that?
Well, besides blindness, I haven't noticed any...
I can't get a straight answer from you anymore.
Yeah. We don't know. Phil, the drummer, and we think it may be something to do with being exposed to the UV light for long periods. Comes out in strange rashes.
Oh, really?
But there are alternative causes for these rashes, which are probably not suitable.
Not from the lights after all, eh, Phil? Okay, there's a couple calls on the phone here. Maybe we can get to them and find out what's on everybody's mind. Hi, who's this?
The Snake.
The Snake. What's your question, Snake?
Oh, well, you answered one of them. I was going to ask him if he was planning another album soon, so I know that. But everything was clear right up, even at the roof, as far as costumes, except for the first one for Battle of Epping Forest. Like, what was that costume about, that first one where you march up and down in front of the stage?
The knight's costume? Or the soldier's costume?
Battle of Epping Forest,
Right.
black.
With a second-hand lady's nylon stocking stuck over my head in the fashion of British thugs.
Yeah.
And you also had a microphone stand, the pole from a mic stand, right?
Yeah, in fact, I should have had a special cane, but someone had been borrowing that just before the gig, and we lost it when the performance actually came. But that's a gang battle, that number, which actually took place in Epping Forest, which is just a little northeast of London. And basically I worked the story around the news item in the paper.
So people from London know what that's all about.
Probably not, actually. I tried. It's about 5 years old, and I tried very hard to trace the original news clipping. I keep clippings that appeal to me, you know, slightly the odd or bizarre things. And I lost this particular clipping, but I remembered the story, and I rang up all sorts of papers, and we had about 5 people looking up different newspaper archives, all with no success. So there was a lot of imagination and a small amount of fact.
Anything else, Snake?
Oh, no, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Good luck on tonight's show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hello, bonjour.
Bonjour. Hi, Pete.
Hi. What's your name?
C'est quoi ton nom?
C'est Jean Lalonde.
Okay, Jean.
He appelé le Green Giant. But, en tout cas, I talk a little bit English, but I don't understand. Okay, Earl, can you traduire?
Okay, I'll try. If I don't, I've got Jeff right behind me.
Yeah. I want to know who write the music and the words of Genesis.
Yeah, we all do. It's cooperative. All together.
Toute la bande.
Oui?
Tout
Okay.
ensemble.
Et puis, il y a personne qui font plus la musique, mais pas les bandes qui font plus la musique que les autres.
So does he do more of the music of the group?
Is there one that does more than
No,
the other?
no, it's very much equal.
C'est égal.
Okay, and yesterday at the show I saw a chicken on the drum. Savoir qu'est-ce que ça veut dire?
You know, Phil has some strange friends.
Hein?
Phil, the drummer?
Yeah?
Bizarres amis.
Bizarre.
Des amis bizarres,
Des
étranges.
amis bizarres.
Ouais.
And I guess with his little drummer, the monkey.
Le petit batteur.
Oh, yeah.
A very good show from the little
Monkey. Yeah, no, it's when the audience doesn't clap, we at least have a monkey to clap.
Yeah.
You didn't have that problem last night, though.
No, we didn't. But, yeah, we play, in England, we play to several concerts. There's a Wembley pool, which is filled entirely with monkeys who clap their hands. We also have another concert to potatoes and cabbages.
How do the potatoes and cabbages respond to your music?
They respond very well, and we respond very well to them, you know. The only satisfactory relationship a performer can have with an audience is to eat the audience after the concert. And although we've tried in Italy eating some Italians and a few Belgians, one or two Englishmen. Englishmen are very tough. With the potatoes and cabbages, we could eat them and not have too many digestion problems.
Okay, Jean? Okay.
Last question.
Oh, another? Okay, good.
Well, why don't you give un rappel à la fin du spectacle?
Why don't you come back at the end and do another number when people are clapping? An encore.
It's because we're sort of working up towards Supper's Ready. At the moment, you know, we think Supper's Ready is the best thing to end with. It's sort of a climax, and anything after that would be an anticlimax for us.
As-tu compris? Allô?
Oui.
Est-ce que tu as compris? Parce qu'il
non,
il termine le spectacle avec Supper's Ready.
Oui.
Et selon Peter, si il chantait autre chose, ça n'irait pas du tout. Parce que Supper's Ready...
by Friday irait bien.
Pardon?
Demande by Friday irait bien.
Oui, mais selon le groupe, Supper's Ready, c'est la dernière chanson qui peut être jouée dans la soirée. Ça devrait en quelque sorte clôturer. Puis si on joue quelque chose après ça, ça brise le tout. Tu comprends?
Ça marche.
Ok, merci beaucoup, Jean.
Salut.
Merci.
Salut. Okay, I think we have time for one more. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
Who is this?
This is Peter.
Peter.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Peter, this is Peter.
You probably know your first album, Genesis to Revelation, was just very recently been released here, and it's been out, you know, here never for a while as an import.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
And you have recorded another album live. This is live, which has not been released here. I'd like to know if it is or when it will be released here.
Yeah, well, at the moment, the live album is in limbo. Well, it is due to be released. We're not quite sure when or who will release it, but it should appear soon.
It should be soon. Okay, that's really, really good. Okay, another thing is when the last time you were here in Montreal, I caught the show. It was really, really great. And everyone who I went with all said it was great. However, the two reviewers for our morning and afternoon newspapers both gave the show a complete 10 review. How do you feel after getting through to the audience, and yet you don't get to it all to the reviewers?
Well, I believe both reviewers have met unfortunate deaths since our last concert. So I don't wish to say anything unpleasant.
Good night on tonight's. Good luck on tonight's show.
Sorry?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. All right, got it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Peter. Okay, is this the album? This has not been released in Canada. Is this the one we're talking about?
That's the one you're talking about.
Ah, I wasn't aware that this was not a Canadian release till I just looked at it, and lo and behold, we have an import copy.
Yes, more rip-off import prices, folks.
So, I think we'll listen to that. Do you have any final comments to the people of Montreal before tonight's show?
Yeah, well, there's still one or two tickets.
There's a few tickets left. I don't think there will be come showtime. And last night's show was really good. I'm going again tonight. Are you going to make it, Peter?
Yeah, I think I might come along. I've seen it all before. It's a lot of rubbish, but it sells.
I have one more question I just thought of. The gigantic blast of fire. How was that made, or what's that all about?
Yeah, that's a spokesman from heaven.
A spokesman from heaven, and he on cue every time.
Yeah, well, we got it pretty well taped.
Okay, good. Well, we'll see you tonight, Peter.
See ya.
Okay, thanks a lot for coming by.
Fine.
That's a very sweet little song. Thank you. That's very nice. We'll be back and talking more and get a couple of commercials out of the way here. We'll be back in 120 seconds. And if I get my nom straight here. Gets a little confusing. We're sitting here with Phil Collins and Michael Rutherford from the group Genesis, just sang a song for us. I'd like to talk for a few seconds about what it is that you will be doing exactly tonight, because it is an interesting thing. I know that some people who will be going tonight will be seeing you for the first time, and maybe some sort of a description. It seems like a fairly bizarre thing.
Yeah, well, we'd like to say something about this, because the promoter, fair enough, the way he's advertised it,
right,
has been a little bit... it's had a circus feel, Come and see the freaks, eating fire on stage.
Right.
Someone asked Peter about that once, whether he ate fire and the tightrope, water tightrope. Stories carry like this. Basically, and also that we might fly him up into the high in the sky like we did once in a gig.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a show that is visually very strong. We're using a stage set and with a backdrop, and the slides, which are incorporated, they go with the numbers, and extensive lighting sort of thing. I think the visual side is very strong, but there's just in case people have this idea that freak things are going to happen, the place is going to be blown up.
Right, there'll be no explosions at what a good
way. No.
How do you feel about the as you get out on the stage now? It is theatrics to a certain extent, as far as
the theatrics. The visual things we use are there to put over the music stronger rather than attract people's attention.
Well, I see. Okay.
The costumes that Peter uses and the characters that he adopts are those that are in the tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, at one point, it started off really, basically as a reason, because the lyrics weren't coming across to audiences, in places where you couldn't understand the lyrics, because they're not like usual rock and roll lyrics. So if we Peter thought that if he could do something to help get the lyrics over by adopting the characters of the songs, whatever songs they are, then it will probably be better. And so it's better to say that rather than sensationalism, it is supposed to be related to the music.
Now, it must be difficult to relate to audiences that don't conceive of the lyrics of a song as being all that important. Undoubtedly, you've played in cities where they were looking for the beat, and if there's no beat, there's no reaction to that. Is that sporadic in areas of the country, or have you noticed certain cities are worse than others, or has that happened to you back in England too? And that's an interesting thing.
The funny thing is actually that I guess our best country, our most popular country, is Italy, where they can't understand a word. So I don't know what that says, but it says something, right?
That's really bizarre.
America, they seem to understand a lot of the lyrics. A lot of the lyrics have little humorous digs, which I think the Americans miss out on because they're English, right? Like I find a lot of American humor I can't get into just because it's American. I'm not American, and so a lot of our little humorous bits, I think, get lost. But considering the American audience seems to understand the lyrics fairly well.
How are the audiences in Europe in general? Are they much different than American audiences? Are they rowdier or?
They're a bit hysterical. They're political. They tend to be very political. They'd love us to sing songs about. The young people, I think, are very politically minded in Europe, and consequently, they see music because it's a big part of their lives.
And you don't feel that so much these days in America.
No, and I'm glad, because I don't think it should be. I don't think it should have anything to do with politics. I don't approve of preaching, really. Having a little dig is much more fun. But
well, thank you for stopping by, Phil and Michael from Genesis, and I hope that everyone will make it over to see your gig tonight. It should be an exciting one. It'll be at the Music Hall. What time is it? Is this an on-time start?
Smith.
8 o'clock tonight.
It's just us.
And I think now, this is a long concert, right?
Couple of hours. It's just us, right? So very often it's difficult because there's no support.
So sometimes people arrive late.
Guys think they'll be on about 9, but we go on about 8.
Okay, so there's no
You're
support.
stuck with us for 2 hours. Anyone who comes, no.
Chained to the seats we put them.
Right.
Doors are locked.
And I think there still are some tickets available. So if you're interested, make it over to the Music Hall tonight at 8. See Genesis. We'll end with one last cut from your album out on Charisma. Anything special about this? And this is their 4th of 5th
No, it's not. It's quite a strong instrumental track. I mean, there's a lot of instrumental passages as the album goes. You know what I mean?
And I guess the other thing we should mention is that there will be 5 of you tonight instead of just 2.
Oh, sure,
With friends, yeah,
Right.
there are 5 of
And
them.
Phil, he'll be the one behind the drums, so you'll be able to pick him out.
I won't sing, I promise.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks for stopping by once again.
Okay.
Next time you're in town, hope you will. Okay.